Hey gang, Sean Geek here,
And Fast Fret.
and we have two storefronts. If you are a TeePublic fan, you can browse our inventory over at TeePublic, which is teepublic.com/Sean Geek Podcast.
Or redbubble.com/people/Sean Geek Podcast.
You can get anything from either storefront, from t-shirts, stickers, phone cases, accessories of all kinds. We're talking masks, notebooks, mugs, pillows, totes, tapestries.
Oh my.
Everything's there. Just go to those addresses. Also check the show notes and help support the show. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Welcome to the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast with me, your host.
Host.
Sean.
Hostess.
Host. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well,
Nice. That's a cool background.
Oh, and who's that guy over there? Todd.
That's Fast Fret. Or as also known as, what was it?
Fast Freddy.
Fast Freddy.
Freddy Cougar.
Is it the new nickname?
Some guy took some shots at me and Todd online. He says, I don't know who the hell these guys are, Geek Boy and Fast Freddy.
Not bad.
Yeah, but I like it. Anyway, we brought in Sam Thompson from Witchpolice Radio this week.
Yeah, how's it going?
Just for something to do. I like your background.
Yeah, it's I figured it's not my show, so I might as well put something stupid up. So not my usual logo in the background. So yeah.
This is nice.
The wall of tapes.
I think I've owned most of these types at one point or another.
Yeah, I think most people have who lived through the tape era.
Yep.
Now, did you make this wall and take a picture of it, or is this
No. This is just something I found online that I thought was kind of cool.
Okay.
It's not like the wallpaper in your bedroom or anything.
No.
So, Sam,
yeah,
you have had an anniversary.
Yeah,
tell us about it.
Yeah, as of my first ever episode of Witchpolice Radio was on November 15th, 2012, which means that as of earlier this week, it was the 10th anniversary of the podcast, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
Wow.
There's
a long time.
There's not many that go past a year.
Yeah.
So you've done it 10 times.
10 times that amount, I guess. Yeah.
That's called math. Awesome.
Good calculator for that.
So what's it? I don't know. Is it weird?
Yeah, it's totally weird. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It seems kind of anticlimactic. It was like, oh, cool. This is 10 years since I did the first show, and I'm still doing it. I don't have any sign of stopping at any point in the foreseeable future. So it's just kind of like, oh, that's cool. And then just, okay, next episode still has to come out. So
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So, you know how it is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So have you gone back to your very first episode and listened to it at all?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's unlistenable. Yeah.
You can tell it's the first one.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, what do you guys? I mean, one thing I like about it is I always like the song from when I got the record. Is one of my favorites on the album. But I was looking up just live footage of them a while ago on YouTube, and I saw them playing as like in Australia or New Zealand or something, and they're playing this, and the crowd is singing along, and it's just like,
right, they
have no idea what he's talking about. Like, I mean, I don't think the average punk fan in New Zealand is going to have any clue who Ron McLean is.
Definitely not.
Does that matter though?
Not in New Zealand.
Not in Australia, you think?
Not in Australia.
No. So isn't that weird though? Like, there's also another line they have on one of their other albums.
But it's funny because it's almost like the song's about indoctrination, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying to explain to his niece
why
Don Cherry is like forcing this support our troops down their throats.
When they're supposed to be watching Noki, which is like
right. And then you have these people in Australia who don't know who Ron McClain is.
But they're singing along to every word. Yeah. It's weird.
The irony.
But yeah, they could probably stop singing in that video, and the whole crowd is just singing. It's
pretty crazy.
It's weird. Yeah.
No, did you call it Witchpolice Radio at the time, or was that a different
Yeah. No, it was called that, and it was 3 hosts, and we didn't have any guests, and none of us knew what a podcast was because it was 2012, and we basically just recommended music to each other, and it was like 3.5 hours, and so I mean, it's unlistenable for a lot of reasons. One of them being that like, who gives a shit what music we want to recommend to each other, because who are we, and why does anyone outside of the 3 of us in that room care, right? So I mean, it's not like. Yeah, we're just basically friends hanging out, showing each other records, which, I mean, is cool. But if you're not one of the 3 friends involved, why do you? Where's the interest?
How did you guys record back then? Like, what was it?
I had a Zoom H1, and we put it between the 3 of us.
So you actually had a Zoom? Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought it might have been like a ghetto blaster with a record button on it or something.
No, that's how my old bands used to record stuff. I think most people's bands used to record stuff.
We did too. Yeah.
When it rains, does it feel like I'm melting? The words to the Bible, but the angels to it, going out by a road, ain't no problem. Going out by a road, ain't no problem. This is what went out.
Yeah, it's the same idea, really. I mean, you just sit around the recording device and talk. But I didn't know what a podcast was, and I had heard about a podcast, and it was like, I just had a kid not too long before that, and it was like, I'm not playing bands anymore because of that and other reasons. So let's just record us hanging out, so I can still have something fun going on, since I'm not playing music anymore. That was essentially it.
Nice. And then
it's not good though. Like, don't listen to it.
No, I'm just so you know, when I do the edit of this show, there's going to be a clip of episode 1 playing.
Sure,
it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't.
I'll grab the worst part if I can.
There's a lot of worst parts. I mean, you might have to listen to 3.5 hours to find the worst of the worst. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
And so I caught Louie.
Yeah.
On the radio the other day, and I was like, these guys are progressive. Like, these guys must have been out of their minds.
Yeah.
Like,
it's good, eh? It's really good.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, because when that happened, it's like people weren't doing that. Like, that song was probably the 60s, like
probably early 60s, I would guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like mid 60s.
Yeah,
like,
maybe mid 60s.
Yeah.
But there's a whole controversy about what the lyrics were about too, right? Because people wanted to censor it because they didn't know what he was saying. So they're thinking like, okay, I can't figure this out. He's got to be saying something obscene. Because like I don't know what he's saying. It is cool though that this was like kind of how it turned into what it is now. I like that aspect of it, but it's not like something I'd recommend people listen to.
You know, I'll be honest. Back in the day, when I heard about Witchpolice Radio and I heard about Garbage Hill Radio, and I actually started just kind of sourcing out Garbage Hill Radio stuff.
Yeah,
and I gotta admit, I'm sad that Garbage Hill Radio is not a thing anymore, because I thought conceptually it was a great idea. Very Winnipeg sounding, very, I don't know, to me it sounded cool as hell.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network, garbagehillnetwork.com.
it was cool, but the problem that you mentioned a few minutes ago about most podcasts only last a year, I'm the only one of those podcasts that's still going. And I mean, up until for the past like 5 years, I've been the only one of those podcasts still going. So a bunch of them ended sort of while that was still a thing, and it didn't go because people involved in putting it together were in one of the podcasts that dissolved, right? So
I think I
Yeah.
messaged I'm trying to remember. There was one of them I messaged him and asked him when he was coming back. Because I like this show. I can't remember what god damn, this was like 6 years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, 6 years ago when I messaged the guy. But I think he was at the first podcast festival, I believe.
Okay.
Black hair, I think.
Was it Devin?
Yes.
He did couch surfing?
Yes.
Yeah. That
It's
was the
self-effacing guy.
Yeah, the thing was his kind of brainchild, the whole Garbage Hill podcast network, and it was a good idea, like to get a bunch of local podcasts together. It kind of like what we did with the festival, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's same idea. Get people together, share ideas, help get each other listeners. I mean, I think that some of us still do that with each other's shows all the time, just through sharing stuff on social media and things like that. And
Oh, yeah. Except on Twitter, I guess.
yeah.
We're not going to talk about Twitter again. This is like 3 weeks in a row. The last 2 episodes were Elon Musk centric.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, I've got a group, my New York group I'm part of. I don't know why I'm part of this. A bunch of podcasters and wrestling fans out of New York added me to their group, and they all said, "Okay, I'm shutting my account down today. Where can I find everybody?" And everyone's like scrambling to pick a social media thing to go to, and it's kind of weird.
It is weird. I'm sticking with it until it eventually dies, and then they'll figure something else out by then. But it still seems to exist in some form or other at this point. So
Yep.
I got all the other ones too. So whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Same here. Yeah. So today, in honor of today, Todd and I have been trying something a little bit different using Twitter, actually, but posting 4 topics off our topic board. So I think you've heard about our topic board before.
Yeah. I saw your poll on Twitter actually too. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Todd, I, and Corey, and I think there might even be someone else on our topic board. I should add you on the topic board. You get a topic, just throw it in there, and we never
Sure.
know who puts in the topics. We never know. Like, I don't know if it's a me one. Well, I know.
Well, you know if it's your own.
Well,
one.
yeah, but I don't know if it's Todd's, or I don't know if it's Corey's, or my wife might even be on there. I don't know.
That could be dangerous. Just getting random people submitting ideas.
Well, but it's fun though. Like, it's just off the cuff. So I grabbed 4 that I thought would kind of work with you, and I put polls on all the social medias except Mastodon. I didn't post on there yet.
I don't understand how that works. So
I'm fucking lost.
It's baffling.
It's very baffling, but the only one that worked was Twitter, strangely enough. But I did get a response on Facebook that was interesting, because one of the categories was aliens in the sky over Manitoba, and I was told, aliens over the sky, ever been to Polo Park? They're on the ground, dude. So I don't know. I guess it's true. But so there was 4 topics. So there was aliens over the sky in Manitoba, which Todd, did you put that on the list?
No, that wasn't me. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I know this next one's yours. Small letters on bottles, on pill bottles, and that sort of stuff, prescriptions, and the fine print on what you're supposed to take. And we're all not young anymore. And the Illuminati, I put that on there because I just got an invite to join the Illuminati last week.
Is that how they do it? They just send you an invite?
I guess. I don't know. But
I assume it'd be more complicated than that to become a member. But
Who's it signed by?
If we talk about it, I'll tell you who it was. And then the last one is musicians selling out, and that's specifically related to if you're a musician, you're in a band, you're an alternative artist, or you're a rock guitarist and or a drummer or whatever, and then suddenly the big pop star of the moment says, "Hey, I need a guitar player for my tour." They take time off from their band and go play with the pop star and get paid lots of money. Is that considered selling out? So those are the 4 topics. So based on the polls, what do you think was the top vote?
the band one.
Todd?
What was the second one?
Small letters on pill bottles.
I'll go with that one.
Okay, you're both kind of right, because number one was musicians selling out. Number two was small letters on bottles.
Oh,
So there you go.
okay.
So everyone's just getting old and can't see anymore of that.
Yeah.
Well,
on Twitter, I guess. Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be pill bottles. It can be just
Anything.
instructions on a box of food that you buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's get into the musicians selling out.
Yeah.
Now, before I get into this, anyone around this table here, this virtual table, has anyone ever sold out their musical whatever to go do something they didn't want to do musically just because there's more money there? Like
No, no one.
like playing a country band or something.
No one would ask me to play in a band that wasn't my own band. Like it would never have happened. So that's very unlikely. I mean, would I have taken it? Probably. If someone's like, you're playing a country band, here's $500 or whatever, versus here's like, $3 between three of you or whatever. Yeah, like why not, right?
Well, yeah, it's you're still playing music.
Yeah.
Todd?
Yeah, that's never happened to me. No. Play for fun.
Yeah.
And if there's a few bucks involved, hey, that's just more.
It's a bonus, right?
The bonus, yeah, exactly.
Wow,
The cherry on top.
that was pretty easy.
How about you?
No. You know what? Well, okay. Well, no, like who's gonna ask me to, like, in that last band we're in, I was told I couldn't even sing, so whatever. But I think Todd, remember when Todd and I were in that band, like that other band with my dad, the Classic Embers, which was just a pure cover band.
Yeah.
I think we got paid really well, but the band leader kept all the money. But I think we got paid well.
Well, we drank his beer too, so
that's coming out of the paycheck, right? That's
it's coming out of the
deducting
beer
from
fund. The beer fund.
But we went from that, and I purposely sought out after that. I was like, that's when I auditioned for whatever dome would have been called at the time, because I didn't want to play for money. I wanted to play for, let's write some music and put it out there.
Yeah.
So I went the opposite route, if anything, but
Just more of a hobby, not a business. More of a hobby.
Yeah.
Because once your hobby becomes a business, then the hobby is not as funny anymore.
True.
Well, and then you have to make decisions that will actually benefit the business too, right? I mean, someone who is, deciding, okay, I'm going to be a drummer for as a career. If you're playing in some band that you're doing for fun and it's making you a couple bucks here and there, and then someone says, I'll give you $500 a night for playing in this country band, you're probably going to take it just because that's going to get your career actually paying for your food and rent and everything else, right? So It's a different, I think none of us have been in that situation, I don't think, where it's been anything other than just, this is music I'm making with my friends and I'm enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Hey, I managed to get a gig at the Pyramid or whatever.
But this is cool.
Get to play the Albert. Cool. Yeah.
But if can I skip ahead to your actual question that you asked, like the actual topic? Like, I don't think it's selling out unless you have made. It really depends on who it is. If you've made your whole career about not compromising your principles, and then you compromise your principles, then it's the thing. Okay. I mean, if a member of Propaganda joined like Taylor Swift's band or something, that would be like what people would question that, I think, and I think they'd be it would be understandable that they questioned it. But if someone who played in even another punk band and their whole thing wasn't about that, and selling out was never something they talked about on records or in interviews, and they just had an opportunity, like the guy from the guitarist from No Use for a Name, he joined the Foo Fighters. He's one of the Foo Fighters guitarists, and he was in a punk band, but that band, as far as I know, was not all hardcore about the not selling out thing, even though they're from that era where that was a concern for a lot of bands. So I think it depends on the person. I mean, and the best example I can think of is one of my favorite bands ever, Fishbone. The drummer from Fishbone, Fish, he's been a musical director for Justin Timberlake's band. What? He's done like Cirque du Soleil. He's toured all these like huge things. Wow. And because he did Fishbone for like 20 years, and then he quit for a while, got all these other like big gigs, and now he comes and goes in Fishbone when he has time. And they have another drummer. They have a second drummer who fills in when he's not there, and they just trade off. And like every time I hear about that, it's like you watch some video and there's Fish from Fishbone playing behind Timberlake at some big award show or whatever, and it's like, this is cool. Like,
I had no idea. That's actually, for me, I think that's actually cool. Like
it's super cool. Get
yeah.
the money, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, he plugged away in this band that should have got more recognition than it did for decades.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, you know, and then this comes around. He's like obviously a good arranger, and he's a good, like, you know, band leader and stuff. So, like, yeah, go for it. I love seeing that stuff because it's cool. It's cool. You see someone from a band that you love, and all of a sudden they're in this like totally incongruous place, and it's like get the paycheck. Like, do it.
But the like the best part of that for like, I think, is you made some money, you paid your mortgage for the year.
Yeah.
But now you can go back to Fishbone or whoever it is, right?
That's right.
Actually take a run at it. Like, it actually gives you the freedom to take a run at it. It's like the John Cusack was, you're familiar with John Cusack, right? So he was making a Hollywood film and then making one for him. So he do one off, but then he kept, you know, he just kept making the movies he wanted to do. He just had to do, you know, a studio one every other movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You know?
No, there's not. And I mean, like, you know, going back to Fish too, like, I mean, Fishbone was on Columbia Records. They weren't, you know, they were an underground band in the scheme of things compared to other bands of their era who were way bigger. But I mean, they were on a major label. So him going to go play drums for some pop star and then lead the band there, it's not like some DIY underground band. It's like just a step towards a, you know, career move. Like, really, selling out only affects people who are in like the super deep DIY punk scene, who make it their whole identity is that they're DIY. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like that. I like that there are bands and podcasters and people who make movies and everything who are just so dedicated to DIY that they will never. I mean, like, if a member of Minor Threat, if like Ian MacKaye, like, you know, suddenly joined Justin Bieber's band or something, it would be like people would lose their minds.
Yes, yeah, okay, that's yeah.
But who else is Ian MacKaye? I mean, like, you know, out there's not that many people like that who have dedicated themselves to strictly underground music for like the past 50 years, right?
But I would say Propaganda, like somebody going from there to go play on a Concrete Blonde album or something. Now that'd be cool.
But they would probably love that though, because they love Concrete Blonde.
Well, yeah, they're huge Concrete Blonde. Well, like I am. I don't know if you are, but I love Concrete Blonde.
I haven't heard enough, honestly.
I've got 4 albums in my collection. Yeah, I don't know. But like there's like, this isn't your, you know, your realm of music, but Nuno Bettencourt, who played in Extreme, he went and played for, I think it's Rihanna or something.
Okay.
And he got some flack for that because he was in Extreme, and you know, like, people like their metal, and if they like their metal, they don't like it when they're metal guitar players or metal or hard rock, whatever.
Yeah.
They go and play on the pop side. And I understand the argument is that, look, rock is dying. You know, rock doesn't get played on radio anymore, but, you know, it's Rihanna and Beyonce all day long on the radio. So you should be helping us fight on the rock side to get us on the radio. But now you're going on the other side. And I'm like, but Nuno got paid a shit ton of money. Like, Rihanna's huge, obviously.
That's right. Yeah.
And he paid a shit ton of money. And now Extreme can go do this tour. They're doing an anniversary tour like a few years ago or something. It's like they probably couldn't have done that otherwise, because they're like, oh, that's Rihanna's guitarist's band. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know. I think,
well, and also it's not, I mean, arguably it's rock's own fault that it's not on the radio anymore, because it's just been shit for, I mean, like, there are obviously great rock bands still. I'm not trying to say that, but I mean, like, the fact that it's not popular anymore has a lot to do with the decline in the mainstream. I mean, when you get bands like Nickelback being the top selling rock bands, that's a problem. It's not, you know, I mean, it's not some underground rock band's fault that R&B's on the radio. It's because the mainstream rock bands are terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Todd?
Yeah, I'm well, when it comes to studio musicians, I mean, there's some that have played on millions of albums that you would never know, and who really cares? But the thing is when you have a 3 or 4 piece band or a rock band that has, you know, they have this member, that member, this member, that member, you see them on stage, you know who they are, they're popular, and then you see them wander off playing somewhere else. It affects it's not so much the musician, it's more the fans, because the fans are dedicated to the band. Like, they don't want it diluted. That was like when Van Halen came and then Dave left and then Sammy came in. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people hated it just because it wasn't the original band.
It's not the guy that they're used to hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got to pay the bills, or I mean, you only live once. I mean, you look at it at the artist's view instead of the fan view. I mean, the artist has got to eat. So I mean,
Yeah.
say the band is was hot at one point and all of a sudden it's declined. I mean, a lot of the old bands are coming back, but in the meantime, they still got to eat. I mean, that's their bread and butter. So if they have a chance to play with another band, hey, why not? And if I was in a band that was popular, and someone asked me to play somewhere else, sure, why not? I mean, it's no harm, no foul. I mean, the only people that get disappointed, I think, are the fans. I think that's just because of the purity of the band that they imagine in their mind. Because when they see an album or a record or well, nowadays it's the compact disc.
They don't see anything.
That's fading now. It's all USB sticks and just virtual
streaming and stuff. Yeah. Well, you know what though? I think that using the example of Extreme, I just looked them up while you were talking, and I mean it's a 4-piece, but they've had 11 members total in their history.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah. So
wow.
I mean,
okay.
When it's a band like that, it's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
They've been around, and they've had so many lineup changes. Like, who really cares at that point? I know that he is, as the lead guitarist, is one of the main guys in that band, is one of the people they recognize. But when you've had that many members over the years, does it really make a difference if it's that guy or some other long hair on stage playing the same sonons that you heard in anyone? Let's
look at the Guess Who. There's one original member, I think.
Yeah, okay. That's the drummer, and he looks like some kind of weird troll compared to the other guys because they're all like a foot taller than them. They're mostly American. Most of them are younger than the first Guess Who singles.
But the question is, did the drummer ever write a single Guess Who song?
No, he just got the ownership to the rights to the name.
So there you go.
It's ridiculous.
No different than Kiss. I mean, they had different members.
Yeah.
The Eagles, they had some members that came and went. It was
There's so many bands like
that. Yeah.
What point does it become not that band anymore? Though? Because I mean, there's definitely some bands from back in the day that I would love to see, but then you look at the lineup and it's like, oh, it's like the second bass player, and then everyone else is even newer than that, right?
Are you gonna go see Bob Marley and the Wailers? Without Bob Marley.
Well, which one? There's 3 of them.
I know exactly, right?
There's 3 Wailers bands. I mean, obviously it's not going to be Bob Marley because he died in '81. Yeah. But and most people would hopefully know that when they're going to see a Wailers band. But
hope so.
But I mean, depending what version you get like one guy who was on a couple of the albums at the end, and then a bunch of randos, and that's fine. The songs are still great. They're still doing a good job with the songs, but you're not really seeing the Wailers. You're seeing this guy who played rhythm guitar on this album from 1978, and then whoever that he just happened to pick up on the way, right? And then which one are you seeing? Is this one better than that one? Or the original Wailers better than the Wailers, better than the Wailers experience, or whatever?
So singers are basically the voice of the band. I mean, the guitar player, the bass player, they can use the same setup, the same amps, the same guitars, the same style, and they can fudge through it. But you can't fudge through it when you're a singer, unless you're, I mean, if they replace a singer, say for Queen, or they've replaced a singer for Neil Sean and what was it? Journey. If they replace someone who sounds very similar, you're okay. But if they don't, it's a whole different band.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I'm sure I've talked about it before. When I saw a Queen tribute band at the MPS Center, just as many years ago, I got free tickets to it, and they were incredible. They sounded like Queen. They were absolutely dead on. I mean, they had the look. They had, and they note for note nailing it, the vocals too, which was really impressive. And then the guy starts talking in between songs, and he has this thick Slovakian accent or something, and it just killed it. He shouldn't have said anything. He should have just done the songs, and it would have been this is great. He sounds exactly like Freddie Mercury. And then the guitarist was Australian, and this guy's from Eastern Europe. And as soon as they started talking, it's I'm not seeing Queen. I'm seeing a cover band. This is lame. I don't want to be here.
Yep.
And so I mean, if you're gonna imply that it's the same band, just do the songs.
Just
try not to draw any attention to the fact that you're not the guy.
Yeah, he's got an English accent, but he's from Winnipeg.
Well, I think now is the time to break it to Sam, but I actually bought Grandpa's Army, the name, and Todd and I are going to be touring as Grandpa's Army.
You probably could have had it for free.
So here's another interesting case in point. I'm not the original Sean Geek online, even though I've owned the Sean Geek moniker online, or I was the first guy to claim it. I didn't claim it on all social media. So there's another Sean Geek on Instagram. So theoretically, I could get kicked off this show. You could bring that guy in, and that'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, is that guy? Does he know how to do what you do? Like, or what is he? Who, like, is he just some guy named Sean who's a geek, or does he have an actual?
I don't know. He gave me a sort of a cease and desist.
Really?
Yeah, because I kept hashtagging him on everything. They get it because I was hashtagging myself on Twitter and hashtagging myself on Facebook, and when I would post in one place, I would post in all three at the same time. So all the hashtags on Instagram,
oh, I see what you're saying,
were going to his account. He said, dude, I don't know who the fuck you are, but fuck off. It's like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I don't know if it's the same as replacing a band member, because if that guy suddenly showed up and was doing your show with Todd as if nothing had changed, like that would be weird, right?
Well, if it was like Kiss, you could just put on my face paint.
I guess so. Yeah,
every episode, right?
Yeah.
Or wear my Magneto helmet and just wear that and just no, I'm Sean Geek. Yeah, or just I don't know, whatever. Wow. Okay, weird. So what else do we gotta like? So okay, so the one here's the one, and I don't know if you remember, Sam. You're younger than we are, but when Beat It came out, and then Eddie Van Halen was playing guitar on it.
Yeah,
there was no internet back then, but I can imagine if, however long ago is it, 30 years ago, whatever the hell it was,
40 years ago.
3 years ago. So if there was the internet at the time, I think people would have, like the rock people would have been pissed. Because I know Van Halen, the band, was pissed at Eddie for doing it. And he's just like, oh, they asked me to do it. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that they were going to be competing for the what was it? Number one album of the year or something?
Yeah.
Or on the charts.
Yeah. Van Halen was number 2 for that entire time that Thriller was out.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So, and the single that, that knocked him from was Beat It. Yeah. So it's kind of, yeah, they were,
himself in the foot.
Was pissed.
But in that case, it was very much like an obvious. I mean, like it said Eddie Van Halen in the credits, so everyone was buying the albums then too, because it was pre-streaming and stuff, right? So everyone had a copy, and his name's right on there. So it's not like it was.
I don't think his name was originally on the Thriller album.
I'm not going to go dig it up right now, but I thought it was on there.
I'm curious. Wait, do you have Thriller in vinyl?
I have it somewhere. I'm not going to dig it up right now, but
I'm just curious if he's credited on, because I know it was like he was trying to do it, in secret. And so maybe the original pressing of the album at the time didn't have it. Maybe, I don't know. And then now, like, obviously,
I'm going to look it up.
About it.
I don't know. I mean, like, I like that song better than anything Van Halen ever did. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it being number one. But over them. But it's kind of funny though that was what beat them.
Yeah, that beat them. Oh wow, the puns are in abundance. In abundance.
No, it's uncredited.
You're right. Uncredited, yeah. Okay.
It is uncredited, yeah.
Awesome.
And he worked for free.
Yeah. Well, why would I get paid? I just came in and I think he probably came in. It probably took him 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
He just get done. Moving along.
Mike. Yeah. Mike saying, I really like how you do that stuff with your guitar.
This is pretty good.
Creepy as hell.
Yeah. Super creepy. Although if you're going Michael Jackson, going creepy is kind of it's the move, right? I mean, that's accurate.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think there was another I'm trying to think there was another musician that had done it too, that had gone to play for somebody else. I'm trying to remember who that was. Those are the only ones that come to mind. I wasn't prepared for this, so
Vivian Campbell.
Vivian Campbell. Yeah, I guess so.
He was on a couple of different. Didn't he play for Def Leppard and he played for Whitesnake? And
yeah,
am I mistaken?
Yeah, he was a rock metal guitarist, and then he took the gig playing for Def Leppard, and yeah, that didn't go over well with his hardcore fans.
And Yngwie was with Alcatraz, and then he went on his own.
Are you familiar with Yngwie Malmsteen?
Yeah, Yngwie fucking Malmsteen, yeah.
Fucking Yngwie.
That's his middle name.
Yeah, it's his middle name. Yeah.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to Basics of Guitar with Yngwie fucking Malmsteen.
That guy's. Somebody told me the other day. He goes, he's a Muppet, right?
He might as well be.
He might as, yeah. Okay, so I watched something today. I'm just going off topic here, but I watched it and I laughed my ass off, and I was wondering if I'm the only one, but I was describing it to my kids and they just gave me this blank look. But there is you guys are familiar with Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
Yep.
I'm sure, right? I still say they're one of the best comedy duos of all time.
Oh yeah, legendary, yeah.
Like I can still go back and watch their skits and still laugh. Like it's funny for an adult. I don't know what it is about it, but it's hilarious. And apparently nice. Hey Bert. Hey Ernie. But anyway, pre the Muppets and Sesame Street and all that sort of stuff, Frank Oz and Jim Henson used to do Bert and Ernie in front of the crew, or I guess maybe during the show, like before Bert and Ernie were created, they would just do stand up with the two of them for the other puppeteers, and it was off color, it was adult, and that's where Bert and Ernie came from. I think that's kind of the story. So eventually they just kind of massaged it into like Sesame Street and made it, more accessible for kids and stuff like that. But anyway, I saw a skit today, and it was a live action Bert and Ernie, and it was two actors. I don't know who they are. They're probably from Sopranos or one of those mafia shows, and each of them was going to play Bert and Ernie, and they had their shirts on, and the one guy had a drawn in unibrow, and the directors of this live action piece were actually Bert and Ernie.
The actual Muppets?
Yeah, the actual Muppets. So they were directing the scene. They were directing these two mafia guys that are playing them. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Welcome to the Bert and Ernie Christmas Special, starring Tony Sirico as Bert and Steve Sharippa as Ernie.
Oh, Ernie, what the heck is sticking out of your ear over there?
Cut!
What?
Mr.
What?
Sirico.
What?
Yeah, that was all wrong. You're supposed to say, hey, Ernie, do you know that you have a gingerbread man in your ear?
I am?
That's what the script says.
Not to worry. Bert, my good friend, I can handle this.
Great. Let's take it from the top. Gingerbread man!
Gingerbread man!
Oh, thanks, Prairie.
No problem.
And action!
Hey, Ernie, do you know that you have a gingerbread man in your ear?
Yeah, I know. Want a bite?
Want a bite? Do I look like I want to taste the earwax frosting to you?
What
now?
Steve. Yeah, what's up, Ernie? What's up?
You see, you're not actually supposed to hear Bert when he says you have a gingerbread man in your ear.
I'm not?
No. Gingerbread man!
Gingerbread man!
Oh, she gonna keep on doing that?
Prairie, may I? Could I just...
Sure.
Yeah, watch this.
Let me see.
Hey, Bert, give me that line, will you?
Oh, right. Hey, Ernie, do you know you have a gingerbread man in your ear?
What's that, Bert?
I said you have a gingerbread man in your ear, Ernie.
What do you say, Bert?
There's a gingerbread man in your ear!
I'm sorry, Bert. I can't hear you. There's a gingerbread man in my ear.
Oh, I get it. I get it now, Ernie.
What?
I said I get it now, Ernie.
He gets it.
Right. Gingerbread man!
Gingerbread man!
Hey, again with the gingerbread man.
And action!
I can't hear you, Bert. I got a gingerbread man stuck in my ear.
Steve, the Ernie laugh is a bit more like this.
Oh, like this? Oh, what are you, stonad? It's like this.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Please do not laugh like Ernie, Mr. Sirico.
Why not, Bert?
Because you're playing me. The patented Bert laugh goes like this.
Oh, what are you kidding? I could do that.
No.
Oh, no, Steve. You have to stick with...
Yeah, and you do this.
And then you go...
Yeah, don't listen to him.
Tony, we gotta get ourselves out of this gig, I'm telling you. I mean, what are we gonna do? Oh, what do I know? Do I look like a writer?
Why don't we just fade to black?
That's a good idea, Prairie. Fade to black.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
So I showed it to my kids and they're like, they just did not get it. And I'm like, am I too old? Or is this humor just like meant for me? I don't know.
Well, you're familiar with the characters. I don't think they even know who they are?
They wouldn't get the reference probably to the mob stuff either, right? It would be probably over their heads.
True.
But I used to have a Bert for, I got a Bert for Christmas one year.
Like a Bert what?
Like a Muppet. Like a Bert Muppet.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was probably, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe younger than that.
When I was when I went, oh, man, that's cool. I wish you still had it.
Yeah, it was just plastic. And when you move the mouth after a while, they would crack. Just from drying out,
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to last that long.
What was I gonna say? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Those characters are amazing.
I love that shit. I still I regret I gave up my vinyl when I lost my record player. And two of my favorite albums I had, Sesame Street Fever.
They had the disco one, yeah.
Which was fucking wicked. It actually had Gibbs on there.
We got the fever down in Hoopers. It's up in Big Bird's nest. Yeah. And even Ernie's got the fever, along with all the rest.
The fever's got my rubber ducky. You know it's true. Sesame Street.
And I could still hear every song in my head. Like I can hear all the the guitar and bass, those fat bass lines, and Sesame Street greatest hits I had too.
Oh yeah, we have my kids
regret,
have that,
yeah. I regret losing those, but I found a digital copy of the greatest hits, which I picked up later. But I don't know. Sesame Street's wicked. I don't know if it's any good now, but
I'm sure it still has its moments. I haven't seen it in years, but
my kids have no interest though. It's
really,
yeah. Doesn't Oscar eat vegetables now or something
instead of garbage? Or did he ever eat garbage?
Or no? Oh, sorry, Cookie Monster. The Cookie Monster. I think he was eating vegetables now, or I think he started to at one time.
I think the idea was they were make him not eat only cookies 24/7, which is not a bad lesson to teach kids. But I remember people got really offended by it. Oh, he's all woke now, and
he's all woke.
He's still eating like bags of cookies an hour, but yeah.
What is woke?
More like Yoda than
Well, it's the same voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God. So, when my kids were young, and this was just this, so you both know it as parents. When you buy stuff for your kids when they're young, you tend to buy stuff for your kids. So sure. Maybe you're like, so I bought, they had these little mini stuffies about, yay big, and they had the Sesame Street line. So I made sure I got them all, and I would play with my kids and, and I started practicing all the voices of the various Muppets just to talk to them. And I got more enjoyment and entertainment out of that probably than they did, but I don't know. I still have them all. They were like, "Oh, we can get rid of these, Dad. I think we're too old for these." No, you're not.
Keeping them forever.
They're behind me on the wall.
Yeah.
I was gonna put them all behind me on the wall. I get I don't know.
Okay, I have a question for you about that, because I see behind you on the wall. Obviously, listeners can't see this, but you have a bunch of action figures. I can't see what they all are. One of them looks like Nightcrawler. Anyway, they're all in the boxes still. They're on display in the cases. Do your kids not ever want to play with those? Like, how do you? I mean, because any toys I had from when I was a kid, I just gave to my kids when they were old enough. I have Godzilla stuff. I have like a bunch of old Universal monster, like Frankenstein, Dracula stuff. When I was a kid, I kept them. And basically, as soon as my kids were old enough to play with toys, it's like, here, you take these and play with them. It's got to be temptation, right, for your kids to see this kind of stuff that's like collector's items in packages and not get to actually open them.
Yeah, well, I do have a bunch. Most of them are out of the package. These are just ones that I just never opened up.
Okay.
But I let them play. Like, I've got them all in a bin, kind of safe and sound. Sylvia was like, don't like, because like she's a nerd too, right? Like she's collected some, action figures of her own and stuff like that. But like she still collects, like she still has a few Barbies and stuff like that. Just, I don't know, just whatever. So she made sure we kept those like when they're old enough. So a couple of months ago, I dug out the old bin and I let them pick. I said, you guys can pick 2 each out of the bin. So they picked Hulk and Captain America, an Iron Man, and a Spider-Man, I think. And it took 5 minutes for the head of the Hulk to snap off. And then I looked how much that was worth online to buy a new one. And it's like a couple $100 to replace, like to get a new one, because they were printed in limited edition. Like they only printed so many, and then that's it. They were done. So,
but it got used for what it was meant to be used for, though, right?
Well, no.
So like that's I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to like shit on all collectors of things, but the idea of buying something and then not using it drives me absolutely insane.
Oh, no,
people buy like multiple pressings of an album and they just have them on the shelf, and it's like someone could listen to this. Like you could give this to someone who actually wants it because they want to hear the music on it, or comic books that are sealed. Like I get that there's value in some of these things and people collect them to sell and all that, to flip and everything, but I don't know.
I read all my comics. I don't.
Yeah. It's like, why buy it if you're not gonna,
These ones, I think the ones that are boxed that I have I specifically bought them for the reason that when the kids are of age to, I guess, have an appreciation for comics, not just having like Vindicator, like gonna go hang out with Barbie and go on a date or whatever. I guess I don't know, but like this is for them. Like I bought ones for them. So there's a lot of women, because I feel that the action figure industry has been predominantly, they just put out male action figures and then one woman, and then that's it. And they're the helpless female. And I don't like that. Like I want to, I've got She-Hulk up there. I've got Kitty Pryde behind me somewhere, Captain Marvel. I'm trying to show my girls that there's great role model superheroes, and it's not just a bunch of dudes, So we've been kind of pushing that a bit in house. Is just like, I don't know, the misogynistic superheroes are kind of not pushing those. Like I'm definitely not pushing Iron Man on my kids, because
Well, Iron Man doesn't need any more fans anyway. Like he's already, I think, maxed out.
Well, and I don't like him as a character because he's misogynistic.
He's an alcoholic.
He's alcoholic. He goes through women, like I go through cookies. Like, and it's like, and he's popular because why? Oh, because he's charming.
He's rich. He's Elon Musk.
It's the bad boy mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls like the bad boys until they're with them for a while, and then they're not so great, right?
And then exactly. I don't know. My kids like Spider-Man. They like that he's a dork and that he's he's not cool. That's kind of what makes him cool. Like my kids kind of go for that. They don't like.
That's awesome.
The Prince Charming. We were just watching Enchanted tonight. I guess they don't remember it. We watched it a long time ago with them, but they're watching it, and they're kind of looking at Prince Charming like, what an idiot. Or he's not Prince Charming, I think it's Prince Edward or whatever, but like, yeah, he is an idiot. You know, he's not, you know, the good guy. Like, you know, he's good looking. Well, that's
that's about his only attribute.
Yeah, and that's not good enough for my kids, you know.
Yeah.
Does he play Minecraft? No, not cool. You know? But
You share interest.
Yeah.
No, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't push any of the I try to stay away from the old tropes with the kids. I'm sure you've done the same thing. Both.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You don't want to. There's, I mean, obviously there's lots of good in some of those old movies and comics and books, but there's also a lot of stuff that you can explain why it sucks now and why it sucked then too, but people didn't pay attention to the suckiness of it.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Stan Lee so much, because back then, and it was controversial back then, he used to have something called Stan's Soapbox, which is free, and he would like kind of have a political rant, and he was like, it was always a rant against, it was like, you know, pro like anti-racism stuff, like often, or pro women stuff. Like he was always, I don't know, he was always like thinking ahead. Like he was actually, he was a pretty good guy. Like he didn't like, you know, chauvinistic things or racist things, and he always kind of went against the grain. Like back then, you're the publisher of a book and you're going against the grain. Like people were afraid to do that back then, especially in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you could get shut down by a big corporate company, but he always just, you know, he pushed the envelope. Like there was, I don't know if you know the story about the comics code authority. Yeah. So he had,
it's crazy how much stuff that they just like, you couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah. Like you can't, like one of the rules, you can't have a woman kissing a woman or a man kissing a man.
Yeah.
That was one of the rules, right? And I don't know, Stan was like, there was the one thing you can't depict drug kind. And he was like, he actually, okay, we're going to put an issue out of Spider-Man. We're not going to have the Comics Code Authority seal of approval on there. And everyone, like, oh my God, you can't do that. But he wanted to tell the story of drug addiction and how it's horrible. And you know, I don't know. I think the issue won like some awards after that, and like, wow, you didn't have the seal of approval of the industry, and you still put the comic out, and it sold gangbusters, and you know, everyone's talking about it in a good way. You know, I don't know. Stan was revolutionary. I think he was a good guy.
Yeah, he was cool. I mean, a lot of his characters, a lot of his stories he was writing too were very much political statements, just in themselves. And people, it's always weird when people take comics and they like see them as some kind of right wing thing.
Yeah,
like it doesn't. It's like, what did you read? Did you actually read the subject matter like that you're referring to?
I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Do we want to take the second topic?
Oh, I know it's a cliffhanger, and we got so much more to go, but decided to split this episode in two. Come back next week for the conclusion to the two-parter with Sam Thompson, Witchpolice Radio. I promise you, it's going to be great. See ya.